Hello, I hope you're okay and you're coping all right. I'm thinking about this thought for the day on a bright, sunny but very cold and icy day. It's difficult enough at the moment trying to get to work without having to de-ice the car as well. And it's also hard to think that spring is just round the corner, but it is. I love all the seasons, and at the moment it's so lovely to see all the sproutings of daffodils and other plants about to bloom. We even have some lovely spring pink and white heathers in our garden. As Psalm 118 verse 24 says, "This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." So today I guess I'm trying to think happy, positive thoughts. I know it's not always easy, is it? Perhaps you could go for a walk and find some lovely sproutings of your own, or perhaps you have a garden to look out on. If you don't, perhaps you could think of some plants, such as daffodils. I did that the other day, and the wonderful poem by Wordsworth came to my mind. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. There's another great poem that I like called Smile. It's purportedly by Spike Milligan, who incidentally was billeted in Bexhill during the war. The poem is basically saying that if you smile at someone, it might make them smile back and feel better, and you will feel better for smiling. The poem itself mentions such words that are quite apt at the moment: the flu, epidemic, infections, being infected, but it talks about them in a positive light. I've noticed that one of the positives of this pandemic is people's kindness to each other. That word keeps cropping up in the news and so on. The dictionary's definition is the quality of being friendly, generous and considerate. A smile can do all of those without words. But we should remember to not just be kind to each other, but also to ourselves. If this pandemic has taught us anything, perhaps it is to remind us that we are not superhuman. Life is fragile, and whilst we should always strive as Christians to be kind to others, we need to think of ourselves as well. Perhaps this week we can look at what interests us, what hobbies we have that we can revisit. I don't know about you, but I love to sing. We are certainly missing our lovely choir, aren't we? And we're certainly missing all those lovely hymns to sing. I started at St. Peter's as a choir girl some 100 years ago, but we've had some wonderful girl voices at our church over the years, from Ros and Juliet Pochin through to Caroline and Gwen Elias, the Miles's girls and beyond. And in recent years with TFG, we are also enjoying our music group. Singing is a natural antidepressant. My first singing lesson was actually a biology lesson, talking to me about my diaphragm. Singing releases endorphins. That's endorphins, not dolphins apparently. That's the feel-good chemical in your brain which uplifts you and makes you feel happy. And it's a good workout, especially if it's Margaret on the piano at TFG playing Jubilate Deo faster and faster. And it gives you confidence, although I'm rubbish when I'm performing as I get so very nervous. But perhaps today we can sing something to make us feel better, or even sing to someone else if you wish. As the Carpenter's song goes, and didn't Karen Carpenter have such a beautifully rich voice? Sing a song, sing it out loud, sing it out strong, sing of good things, not bad, sing of happy, not sad. Sing a song, make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing a song. About 10 years ago, I co-founded a book club with a lovely friend of mine, but she calls it a naughty book club. That's because although we have a set book to read between get-togethers, our rule is we don't have to read it if we don't like it. There are 10 of us that meet every 6 weeks, and that 10 has pretty much, give or take a few exceptions, remained the same all these years. We genuinely care for each other and we have a love of books. So we're kind to each other. If we don't want to read the book, we perhaps say why, no one is offended, and we might talk about it and share other books we have read. We also are just as interested in each other as we are in the books we read, so you can imagine there's a lot to talk about each time. As we haven't been able to meet, we've been Zooming. During the pandemic, we agreed we didn't want to read anything depressing. So another lovely friend of mine, also in the group, suggested reading a children's book. It was so uplifting. I read Mary Poppins. Others read Anne of Green Gables, Peter Pan. One particular book that stood out for me was Pollyanna and her Glad Game. Finding good and kindness in people, which was sometimes quite difficult, but using that word again, it was infectious, and soon those around her changed for the good. Pollyanna was first published in the First World War era. Hardly the time, it would seem, for a book whose newly orphaned main character was as sunny and optimistic as they come. But somehow the book struck a nerve and was an immediate hit with children as well as adults. To quote Pollyanna, "And most generally there is something about everything that you can be glad about, if you keep hunting long enough to find it." Make-believe, I know, but perhaps we can try it as well. After all, as Christians, we have an awful lot to be positive, thankful and glad about. So we thought about being positive, thankful, being glad and being kind to others and to ourselves. Let us also be glad and rejoice and thankful to God for all He has given us. I'd like to finish today with a Celtic prayer. May flowers always line your path and sunshine light your day. May songbirds serenade you every step along the way. May a rainbow run beside you in a sky that's always blue, and may happiness fill your heart each day your whole life through. Amen.